Call to order the Town of Willington Inland Wetland and Watercourse Commission. Regular meeting today, October 27th, 2025. The time is now 7:30. First time on the agenda, call to order, roll call. Everyone's here except Evan.
Yep.
So I don't know if he was excused or.
I did not hear from him.
Okay. There's no seating of alternates at the moment, or no current applications to be received. Next is approval of minutes from the August 25th, 2025 meeting. So we had a chance to review those, Ralph?
I have not had a chance to review them.
The keen eye of Mr. Drobny. A few just minor things. So it'd be under F2. We should strike P. Lord mentioned to approve, second by D. Jordan, and then it states again, second by D. Jordan. So we'll strike second by D. Jordan. F4, it reads P. Lord motion to approve, second by D. Jordan, second by M. Drobny. We'll strike second by M. Drobny. That's all I had. Well, a moment to review those, Ralph.
I'm sorry?
Would you like another moment to review those?
I don't even have them, Patrick, so I would abstain if you vote on it.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the Town of Willington Inland Wetland and Watercourse Commission, August 25th, 2025 meeting minutes. Second. Ralph's gonna abstain. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing for inland wetlands application, IW 2514. The commission initiated amendments to forest practice regulations and inland wetlands and watercourses regulations to improve clarity, reliability, and increase consistency. Forest practice regulations, sections to be modified, section 2, 7, 8, and 10A. Inland wetland regulations to be modified, 1C, 2, 6D, and 7D. Mike, do you just want to walk through this again? This was.
Yep. So if you look in the packet, there's the clean versions, but also there's a red line that shows what's being changed. I did provide this to DEP, and they indicated that they didn't need the referral ahead of time because the changes are essentially grammatical, correcting errors, correcting references to statute, removing unnecessary terms, correcting certain language, which is to make it consistent with statute. There really are no changes proposed to the regulations themselves. So we're not changing what's regulated, we're not changing how it's regulated, we're not changing up the review area, we're not changing permitting requirements, we're not deviating in any way from statute. This is really just to make sure that we're using the terminology correctly and the same across all of the codes. And then pulling out unnecessary terms and making sure we're referencing the right agency. So some of the terms have changed since the commission initially adopted its regulations. So you'll see as you go through, strike throughs obviously are being removed, underlined are being added. So there's been a lot of, again, regulatory changes at the state level, which were not necessarily reflected. So this was, the town has codified all of its regulatory documents, so zoning regulations, ordinances, the forest practices, inland wetlands, the subdivision regulations, aquifer protection regulations were all codified and are all now contained within one body of code. So this was all part of that. So if you have questions about anything you've seen specific, we can go through and look at them, but substantially, there are no, what I'm gonna just call regulatory changes to any of the processes of this commission for either inland wetlands or forest practices. So Deep has a copy. Once approved, they'll want to have the updated copy just to reference the date, but before you can approve, we have to give an opportunity to have a public hearing. This was noticed in the newspaper. All the proposed amendments were filed with the town clerk for all the documents. So yeah, I can go through anything in specific if you'd like, but these are the same changes that you made decisions on several months ago. Then we presented to you at the August meeting, and that we then ultimately advertised the hearing for. So there've been no changes in at least six months. There's been no additional modification.
Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak to these changes or modifications to the regulations? And we vote on this?
So we have it under new business item 5 at the end. So the only, if you don't have any discussion or questions or modifications, you can close the public hearing.
Do I have to make a motion to do that?
You do, yes.
Make a motion to close the public hearing on inland wetlands application IW 2514 for the modifications to the inland wetlands and forestry regulations. I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Nothing. Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business. Next item on the agenda is timber harvest application TH 25-7. Selected timber harvest at 0. Laz Road, map block lot 44003-00. Owner Robbins, applicant M. Gallagher.
I'm here.
You're Mr. Gallagher?
I am Matt Gallagher.
You want to run us through the harvest?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Good evening.
And Mike can pull up some maps.
Sure.
Can everyone see me? Does anyone need a map? I brought extras.
We'll have that on screen. So
I'll take one. So take one.
You may.
Perfect. So I'm with Conwood Foresters. We're Connecticut's oldest consulting forestry firm. We've worked with the Robins for quite some time now. Over the last 40 years, there have been return entries into this parcel of land. The last one being in 2007. So what you see on your maps in these salmon colored donuts, I'll call them, right in the center there was the harvest that was done back in 2007. Coming up on 20 years in forestry, in these terms, we differentiate age classes of forests based on 20-year intervals here. So we're in 2025, coming up on 2026 when this harvest is anticipated to begin. What we're doing here is we're going to be harvesting all those salmon colored donut parcels. And we like to think of this, what we call Femelschlag or expanding gap silviculture. And so the goal of this here is we want to increase the resilience of this forest through diversifying age class and species diversity across the landscape, making the forest a little bit more resilient, helping out the landowners with timber revenue sources, as well as providing a release of resources to the regeneration that's currently there. And it's amazing regeneration. In the last 10 years, this is probably the best site I've ever seen, hardwood oak hickory regeneration. So we're gonna finish marking this harvest within the next week. I'm going to have to show this harvest to a couple contracted supervisory product harvesters in the coming weeks. Once that happens, we're not anticipating a start date till earliest summer of 2026. What we're planning on doing, the foresters that came before me who have worked on this parcel of land have outlaid such a network of forest roads, as you can see in black, and all the skid roads, which are in yellow, and all those dotted yellow areas are all the stone walls, all the cultural legacies across this parcel here. So we're going to stick to those roads, we're going to stick to those skid trails that have been utilized in the past to reduce the amount of soil impact across this forest. As we do this, we're gonna be pulling all the products out of this forest, out of the main entrance of Balazs Road,
Yeah.
nowhere else.
That's why we're there.
Yep. And, from here, once we close this job out, we're gonna mandate that the logger put anti-tracking mats at the entrance to Balazs Road to reduce the amount of debris or soil that enters onto the town road. We're also gonna close everything out with water bars, where they are needed. Anywhere we have steep slopes, or we're coming anywhere close to any wetland or vernal pool soils, we're gonna insert, a silt screen. And we're also maintaining a buffer about 100 feet from any wetland soils or any vernal pools as well. I'm also happy to answer any questions anyone here may have. I'm assuming a lot of people are here because they received the abutters notice. And I'm here to ensure that everyone's happy. You know, all the abutters around the parcel here, the town of Willington, and our clients. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
So are there any stream crossings or wetland crossings proposed with the operation?
Nope. So we will not be moving over any wetland soils, nor over any streams, being ephemeral or perennial.
And it sounds like you'll be using the Connecticut deep CMPs for road construction and everything throughout the operation.
Yep, and like I said, you know, the foresters that have worked on this plot of land in the past have installed an incredible forest road system in the skid roads where we're gonna continue to utilize them. There will be a little bit of improvement on that forest road to ensure that log trucks can get up and out of there with a full load on, for the safety of the drivers and to prevent any accidents on the land or to any neighboring properties.
How long do you anticipate the operation to, like the duration?
I'd anticipate it lasting 6 months, once boots are on the ground and contract is signed. There's a lot of volume that will be coming out of here, a lot of cordwood and a lot of saw timber. Roughly 400,000 board feet, 420,000 board feet of saw timber, and probably the equivalent in cordwood.
So where exactly will the log landing be?
So
From the four-way intersection up Plaza Road?
So,
Whereabouts would it be?
the log landing are gonna be those circles you see along the forest road there.
Yeah,
Those are pre-existing log landings that were utilized in the past, and we're going to continue to utilize them because they're there.
yeah.
Or before we get into discussion with the public that I will allow tonight, is there any discussion from the commission itself, Ralph or Mr. Dropney?
To me, this looks like an operation that's going to be conducted in the dry for the most part. There is no, there are no stream crossings that I could discern. I have really no concerns about it.
I wanted to ensure that we were well outside of the upland review area, ensuring that we weren't practicing anything within wetland soils or any vernal pools.
How far from Turnpike Road is that landing on Belongs?
So that the most southern landing, we won't be utilizing that.
You're not,
Or won't, I'm gonna utilize the landing just
Okay.
north of that,
all right.
as well as the other two landings that are in the center of the parcel. And that's about, I'd say, half a mile north of Turnpike.
Sightlines are good.
Yeah, I've been driving that road back and forth every day for a long time now.
So just so the public understands that, all his forestry operations are ultimately overseen by the Connecticut Deep Forestry Division. And forestry practices are an agricultural practice. Okay. Do you have any further discussion? Did anyone else like to
Oh, he answered my question.
ask? Like to make?
Anyone else have questions? I'm happy to answer. My contact information is on that butter's notice. So if anything comes up after this meeting, I'm happy to take any questions.
Like to make a motion to approve timber harvest application 25-7, selective timber harvest at 0 Balaz Road, map block lot 44-003-00, owner Robbins, applicant M. Gallagher.
A second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, inland wetlands application 25-16, request for jurisdictional ruling for selective timber harvest associated with timber harvest application TH 25-7. I'd like to make a motion to approve inland wetlands application 25-16, request for jurisdictional rulings for selective timber harvest associated with timber harvest application 25-7 as an as of right activity. Second.
I will second.
Mr. Dravich, second. Let's get that
Okay.
clear for the record.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is inland wetlands application IW 25-15. Request for jurisdictional ruling for land clearing at 14 Malazas Road, owner applicant S. I'm gonna butcher this one. Where's the kiss? Where's the Kiowas?
Please again.
Zakowitz.
Zakowitz.
Just like
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
All right, so you look familiar. Please, let us know what you plan on doing.
Okay, so, the application is, I'm looking to have some timber or some, land cleared within the property. There's two lots, 14 and 18 Malaz Road, but the primary, majority of it is on 14. There is, it's all in the interior portions of the lot that's, being cleared. There is a wetlands crossing from Balaz Road to the interior portion of the lot, so that's why we want to do it, the work this time of year, because we have my tree clearing folks here that can talk to all the processes that they would use for that. We're gonna have a survey conducted by our soil scientist, Rick Zulik. He's gonna do a survey, and that's gonna bound the eastern and western portions of the area that we're looking to work. If there's any other questions.
Yeah, can you pull up the map, please, Mike, that was provided? This is the one that we want. Yeah. Have you put in your, wetland crossing yet?
No,
This is a different property?
it's the same property.
How do you plan on accessing the interior of the lot if you haven't put in your wetland crossing?
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether, what he did so far. I looked at the
Could
site.
we have your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Alex Sonkin.
Thank you.
I would be the contractor for this. And normally we put in a temporary driveway entrance. However, the driveway entrance wouldn't be used much because we're not taking any material out of that property. Most of the logs will be stacked, the straight logs, and most of the material will be chipped right inside. So that's the idea. We would use an excavator for uneven areas just to get the equipment in, to get the wood chippers in. And there's an area which is not where the driveway is marked, which is an area of least I guess disturbance to the wetlands. It would just be one crossing. It's a small stream, and we use timber mats, yeah, to cross that.
Timber mats, okay.
Timber mats, and then we also use silt fence to keep wetlands protected from any erosion and etc. But the machines that will be used, trucks wouldn't be going in there. It would be stump grinders, wood chippers, and a John Deere 120 excavator on tracks, just to keep everything slowly, to get it in there.
So if I remember, we approved you to do wetland crossing on those. This is lot 8, correct?
Yes, on lot 8, correct. That's 14 Belas, lot 7 is 18 Belas.
Okay, and where's this activity gonna occur?
Thought I provided a map.
I'm trying to convert it because the system doesn't, it's not showing up there because it's an image file.
Oh,
So I'm trying to convert it. It's there.
well, so essentially like I mentioned, the east and west bound of the area is going to be the wetland. So you see the wetlands delineation there.
Not really.
This portion right here,
Yep,
and
I remember.
it goes up there, and then this portion right here.
That's the Fenn River, correct?
This is the Fenn River right here.
Right.
Yeah, and then this is the wetlands
And where's your activity gonna be?
in between those. From the property lines.
Okay. So this would not be considered a timber harvest activity?
It's not a commercial forest practice.
They're not removing any of the timber from the property, they're just staying on the property.
And even some logs that you'll keep will be for firewood. So straight logs will stay.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The one application you had that came in that we approved was for like a driveway, correct? And to construct a driveway?
Correct.
And you're not gonna be doing it at this time?
Not at this time, no.
We're just gonna put in an apron just in case, because we're getting some, trucks will be coming in with guys working, so just for that activity, but otherwise, we're not pulling material out of it.
The previous driveway was approved for crossing right over here.
Yep. Is that where you still plan on accessing that interior lot?
No, because it's a little bit more, I think it's a
You
little
show me.
more difficult.
Show me.
It's a little less narrow right to the north of it, so.
So you're gonna be going on someone else's property?
No,
this is.
That's your property too.
Yeah, so it's property,
Lots
just-
of- yeah, So those two lots are.
So why didn't you have the access go through that narrower part? Because I mean,
So the
doesn't that?
No,
doesn't
so
this
the
wetland-
the
doesn't this
purpose of,
wetland extend this way? Because there's another stream that comes through
the
here.
purpose of the previous application, so when I just purchased these properties a few months ago, the purpose of the previous application was these are two separate building lots. When we were negotiating with the seller, we wanted to make sure that we'd have access to both of the lots. So with lot 7, there's a private road that goes off of Turnpike, that there's an association, and we would build a house here. But the only way that we'd have access to lot 8 in any capacity is if there was a driveway approved for it. So we, as part of our condition of purchasing the property, we wanted to make sure that we didn't have challenges with essentially having a lot that we could never use, right? So we wanted to make sure that we can get approval for that driveway and
Have access to that.
have access, correct? But we don't plan on building there right now or in any time in the foreseeable, well, not right now. We've got some time before we figure that out.
So in order to do that though, you need to define more of that northern boundary of that wetland system.
It's on the maps that I have
Show
here,
me which, I think I can.
because like I even have like these. Look at these maps here, right, this is the one that had the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, we can, I can bring that up because that's from the previous.
This is for the town, yes, correct.
So you own both parcels right
Correct.
I think that one is.
Yeah, my intention right now is not to build anything on that other lot, I just wanna plant chestnut trees.
That was the original thought.
So. Is this the right, does that work?
Yes, so this is lot 7,
Just give me 1 second, I'm gonna share it so that
Ralph can follow and see what we're looking at here.
This was from the original, the previous application.
Right, but now you're saying you're not gonna be accessing from there, you're gonna be accessing to the north through lot 7?
If we do, it would be slightly right here, just because there's less area. It's,
We walked it, it's much less wetland.
Okay.
You know,
So you're gonna plan on having the soil scientists go out there and complete this delineation?
he's gonna complete, all the way from here, all the way to the top.
Okay.
Yes, so that they'll be flagged.
I mean, at this point, I'd wanna see something more concrete and a completed delineation and a map, and something showing exactly, like you did on this one, your plan to cross those wetlands, you know, up above, like your access, so.
Should we be walking this property again?
Well, I guess
Since
then,
this has changed a little bit?
well, so the question I have is if we're using the same, if we decide to use the same area here, then is there an issue there?
I mean,
Since it's already,
I can go that route too, well, it hasn't rained much and it's pretty dry. But it'd be a lot less invasive to
Yeah.
walk up north, and it's just a lot less invasive. You're barely crossing.
yeah, and we're not going up there, it's right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I guess. I've got a picture in my mind of what we looked at.
Yeah, it just narrowed it a little bit more, so.
Right.
And there's zero mud right now there, up north.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
dry.
Because when we walked it, it wasn't very dry.
Yeah, no, right now it
Yeah,
is.
Yeah, but right now it is, and that's what we're trying to catch.
For 7 months.
Yeah. And we just need to get the equipment in, really, and that's pretty much all we do.
Yeah, they're not gonna be driving back and forth with the equipment, all the equipment's gonna stay in there
Until
until they
it's
complete the
done,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting 2 wood chippers, I mean, for that reason, just in case that something fails, we're still.
And you're just.
So can I
dispersing,
make
yeah.
a suggestion, as far as how to, so, cause he actually submitted a wetland app and a timber harvest request initially, and I looked at it, and this is not a timber harvest, doesn't meet the state definition, they're not
Right.
harvesting.
Right.
But it's a jurisdictional ruling, or not, they're requesting an as of right determination, they're basically saying we need to undertake these activities because they want to establish an orchard. So this is not meant to supplement, replace, or modify the wetland approval that you issued. That will remain in place, it's
Right.
active for 5 years, and he's gonna do all those things if he so chooses. But he wants to undertake these activities, and because he's clearing for the purposes of establishing the orchard. It's falling under the as of right request, so something that you could do, because I think it is very similar to how you look at a harvest, is you could ask for documentation of similar sort of level of detail, right? We typically look at an aerial, we typically have all the wetland information on, show areas that you're gonna be using for access, for clearing, for material staging. You can look at it from that regard. We've not had a lot of as of right determinations, even outside of timber harvest, but we don't typically get full-blown delineations for as of right, which is what this is. So I think your first thing to decide is this something that you believe to be an as of right activity, you just don't have enough information to sort of get there, or not? If you think the answer to the first question is yes, then I think we can try to work on pulling together some information, but it will be tricky without a full-blown new site plan to have a delineation done. And if it's as of right, that's not really the SOP anyways. I'm not telling you that Rick shouldn't go out there, you shouldn't look at it, you don't need to do a site walk. Maybe there's some flagging or some marking that needs to be done, maybe you wanna see where they're gonna cut that access in, or they wanna put it on paper. But if you feel that this meets the criteria of the as of right, then those generally don't provide that same level of information, site plans, et cetera, because they're falling into that category.
So I guess my question would be is the as of right activity, the temporary matting and crossing of a wetland, is that covered under an as of right activity? What the activity is actually the cutting of the timber and planting the orchard. In order to do that, he has to temporarily fill a wetland with the matting for the crossing.
So it would be just like, I think, just like a timber harvest, if somebody needed to put in some type of a crossing, and you'd be looking at it to make sure that they're not doing something that's above and beyond what they need to conduct the activity. So if they're putting in the basics to actually perform that crossing or whatever, you may decide it's okay. If they said, I need to put in an 18-foot wide paved driveway with drainage and lighting, you might say, that's a little bit more than you need to just conduct the activity. So you have to decide where that line is. And you may say, you know, you may have opinions about that, maybe you don't have enough information to decide. But yeah, you wanna make sure there's a sort of a connection between the proactive things they need to do to make the activity occur, so that you're not having more intense activity happen than is necessary to conduct the activity that's as of right. But just like with the timber harvest, they have to get to the property, they have to get to that stand of trees before they can do anything. So there is some of that occurs by way of just the activity itself. How much and to what degree is it something that you have to feel out?
And how long will those mats be in, and when, okay, November, December?
We anticipate the entire project will take 4 weeks at most. But we're in a contract, we're giving ourselves till the end of the year, just in case of, you know, weather conditions.
I'm just reading this like operational plan, so the lumber will be stacked by the road for future processing.
There'll be, most lumber will be stacked, will stay, and you mentioned by the road, he put it in there just in case, he wanted to take anything out, and I'm not planning to take anything out under my contract. And, any lumber that's not
For
straight,
I would do it myself for stuff around the property.
and we chip up to 22 inches in diameter, and most trees there, we can chip 95% of the material there, if we want to.
So you said the entry of the site will be done along the driveway that was approved, but now you're asking for a little change to that.
I believe that the entry itself will stay where it is, we
Okay.
just go up north.
Oh, the entry,
Yeah,
right.
so the apron will stay exactly on the spot that we're talking about. The actual apron, that was the whole idea, so he can page it for just one apron and then keep it.
Ralph, any thoughts?
Oh, yeah, a lot. What's the acreage of the area you want to clear?
Approximately 9 acres.
And the lot acreage?
The 21 total between the two lots.
Okay, but the lot is this orchard going to span the property line between the two lots? Do you have any intent to merge the two lots into a single lot?
No,
Okay, so that the lot that you don't have the driveway to or on, it has potential for future development. So I got nothing other than what you've said tonight to give me any insight as to the impact that this might have on the land. So I agree that clearing the trees and establishing an orchard is an agricultural right. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is no documentation on how you're going to get to it, other than what you've said verbally tonight.
so I guess the orchard will be planted in May. I guess I don't understand the question. I guess.
I don't have a map of where how you're gonna access this and where you're gonna clear. That's what I don't have.
Yeah, so I did have a map about
That was provided here. That's your proposed clearing
Yes,
area?
correct, yes.
Can you bring that up? So Ralph can see.
Yeah, let me see.
There were no documents on the with the agenda for this meeting.
Yeah, it's an image file, which is why it's not showing. I'm not sure why that's not there. I think I converted it.
So that, those are a little bit rough on the east and the west side, because it would actually be, the real delineation would be the wetlands border and plus a little bit.
We plan on having this delineated anyway.
So there's gonna be a survey. Rick's gonna do a survey next week or two.
Yeah.
A wetland survey. Yes, wetland survey. And then that's gonna be the east and the west bound. So there's gonna be wavy lines, opposed to straight lines.
So
As part of the survey.
Yeah, that's.
But remember, we're voting to see if this is an as of right activity. For him to go in, cut down trees and plant, what was it American chestnut?
Both, the American and hybrid. What's
the survivability of American chestnut right now?
Much better than 100 years ago.
Okay.
That's why I'm working with the association. They have cultivars that they've been growing. They're giving me
A
access
little
to
more
those.
resistant.
Yeah. And the hybrids and all kinds of different things. Will be a bit of a testing ground too.
So what are we really asking of the applicant? For an updated drawing? I mean, it's expressed to us where he's gonna, intends to put the Matic crossing.
the apron is gonna stay where
Do
it
we
is.
need something in like writing to include with the record, that that's what they intend on doing?
I think you need, as far as what's in the record, you need two things. One, enough information for you to feel comfortable making a decision. Two, enough information so that we all understand what's actually happening. So I think that it is I think that the approach should be very similar to how you handle the timber harvests in the information and the approach. What is the area, the operating area? Where are the crossings going to be? What types of crossings will they be? What is the duration? And it can be as simple as expanding upon the map that we already have for the property.
Yeah.
Right, what's there, they can mark that up and show, okay, this is, here's the total parcel, here's the operating area. Here's the deviation from the current driveway proposal where, so access is gonna be through here.
Mhm.
This is the crossing, this is the type of crossing. I think that they can approach it the same as a timber harvest. Because timber harvest is as of right, just because it's not commercial, doesn't mean that all the standards you would apply to the activity aren't the same. And again, this isn't a timber harvest, but Rick is gonna be out to the property in the next week or two.
Yep.
So Rick's also a certified forester.
Sure.
So there's probably a lot of value that he can provide in how that activity will occur. The only thing that comes to mind to me is just from a mobilization and effort standpoint, if the driveway access that was permitted exists wherever, we go back to, I don't even know what computer I'm on anymore, for God's sake.
Yeah, so the entryway is going to be the same spot.
So I guess what I'm hearing is he's coming this way and he's gonna basically run the property line and come back and come down in at that point.
Correct.
Instead of doing this big horseshoe. So the only thing that I have in my mind is you're gonna, and I think maybe what they're getting at is that you're gonna have an intrusion into the wetlands and a crossing on a temporary basis for this.
Mhm.
And then at some point in the next 5 years, which could be in a month or it could be 4.5 years from now, have to go back into that wetland to establish a permanent crossing.
Yes.
And so I guess maybe if I were to take that a step further, the question is there any value to just crossing one time in one place? Right, because you're gonna be crossing within a distance of, you're gonna be crossing here somewhere, and then you're gonna have this crossing. You're gonna have kind of multiple crossings at multiple times, and so to minimize the overall impact, is there a way to make that happen in one physical location? Is that what I?
Unless you're going to permanently move your driveway to that, the crossing that you're proposing now.
I don't think that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I just
So
think,
you're
I just
still-
think from walking the
For what
property,
you're doing with this
Yeah.
activity, you're moving that.
we're doing such a minimal number of crossings that for this particular project, just to get the equipment in and out one time, it's the area of least resistance, at least, there's no mud there at all right now. So we walked the property recently, and it would require very little wetland disturbance of any kind. If we met on the property, it'd be easier to understand, there's no mud there.
Right.
Yes. And in that particular spot.
I don't think that's a bad idea to take a walk.
Then a question I have is if the issue is the fact that we wanna move that crossing a little bit, then if that's the issue, then can we just commit to using the same driveway, which is already approved? And if that doesn't create an issue, then that's what we should use. It'll just be maybe an extra few mats.
Or if you guys permit, if it's not permitted to do otherwise, if you're permitted to do the driveway path, we can do it, it's just gonna require a lot of mats. That's it.
Well, yeah, I would like to see the minimization of overall wetland impact,
That's why,
temporary and or permanent. Right.
yeah, that's why I came to the meeting, because I looked at it, it's a lot less work for us to get it up north.
But
At this time, I haven't
but
seen
you're
it.
disturbing two different areas.
Yeah, but it's such a minimal disturbing there.
It'll come,
Yeah,
after the matting of the wetlands, very resilient.
Yeah, right now, there's no, like, there's a runoff that's there, and right now, that's not happening, so,
This deviates from forest because the machines are gonna be significantly smaller, and a lot less weight. We're not talking about putting a forwarder in there, which is, massive compared to whatever. the
we're
John
talking
Deere.
about 7,500 pound wood chippers, and we're talking about one John Deere 120 on tracks that will make sure that it slowly gets in there, and then on the way out, we have like 5 machines that will be going in there, and will stay there during the duration of the process. And the skid steer is on rubber tracks, it's just gonna go over one time, stay there as well, so. There's no trucks going in.
So I guess we'll need a motion. Do we feel we have enough information now to make a decision? Well,
I'm not comfortable. I would like to see the access documented, that's all. As far as the clearing, I have no issue with that. But let's document the intent of
Can
how
we
they're
use
going
this
to
as the access
access the
document?
land.
can we use this as the access document?
Yeah, we'll use more mats and we'll just go.
If that's the issue, then we'll use what's already been approved as the access.
All I want to know is how you're going to get there, document it so that when you do the work, everybody knows that's the way you were going to get to it.
So
That's all.
the issue is, you're providing this map, but this doesn't show the real area that you are proposing to access.
But if
Do you get it?
if you're requiring us to, then we would use this.
We'll just
Well,
use.
Well, what I'm saying is that what you came to us with is a different access location than what's shown on this map.
If you would come with a map that showed exactly what you're planning to do now, I mean.
So what we're saying is that just to keep going, if we use exactly this one, the approved one, let's just use it and we'll just use more mats. And we'll-
That was my original plan. We went.
I asked him if I can come to the meeting and if we can find less, resistant pathway.
But if, yeah,
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
that,
but
if that's a
I'm
challenge, then we'll
okay,
use this,
yeah,
it's already.
I'm okay
We
with
get
using
that,
that one.
but we, you know, it's hard to approve something
Right.
that you can't see
No,
on
let's
that.
use this one, if he's gonna use it in the future anyways, that's fine. We'll mark it out, we'll have Rick mark it out, and yeah, we'll use this one.
Rick put these together, so.
The reason I'm saying is because right now, due to the weather pattern, we haven't had rain, this still is gonna be much easier than if we come to the rain season.
Right.
All right, they're gonna use this access now, Ralph.
So are they gonna build the driveway, or are they just gonna use that path to access the property?
They're gonna use timber matting.
So they're not gonna do the driveway yet.
Okay. It would have been very helpful to their goal here to come in with a map that showed exactly what they intended to do.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can I interrupt? Here's
Absolutely.
what I would recommend, only because I think it's important to have in the file, but I also understand we're talking about timing. I would suggest you ask them I heard you say motion to approve, if the motion passes, consider including a condition that they depict, that they provide us with, right now I'm sharing a document that was previously approved, right? So I think they should provide us just with a site plan, it can be this, just to mark the access. Again, I think they should document the matting, whatever it is, just put that document together, which they can send to me. I think they can use any of the timber harvest applications as a reference, and I think that I would then provide that to you to make sure that it accurately captures what you understand. Because I would much rather push them back a month now than have an issue halfway through, because it's not at all what you guys understand you're looking at. So if they give me that plan just to mark it up, I can send it to you. You can say, yep, that reflects what we discussed, and then they can keep moving. But if not, we're addressing it before there's been the activity. I think we do want to have the plan. I think you understand, but I think we should have something that reflects it. I don't think we need to hold it up till the next meeting.
Right.
But I think just having them highlight, this is where we're gonna go, here's the area, map, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we can have that file for
And Rick's
Ralph's
gonna be
comment.
getting in there next week anyway, so you
Right.
can have everything flagged,
Right,
Yeah,
and then we can have all that information.
yeah,
Okay, so we can approve pending an updated plan.
I would say pending that they provide an updated plan to confirm the
The
access.
access.
And I will receive it, I will add it to the file, I will send it to you to make sure that it matches what you understand as far as the access. And if it doesn't, then they'll come back in
Do we
December.
have to have a special meeting?
If I'm just gonna send it to him to confirm and you guys are comfortable with that, no. If he looks at it and says, this does not reflect what we discussed, then yes, they'll come back in December. I'm trying to find the middle ground, but I don't wanna get a phone call that this is not what we talked about, and I'm not gonna have anything to say, well, here's what we
Right.
talked about. So I'm trying to find that middle space.
And just a quick question, if Rick walks the site with us and he finds the least resistant access point and he marks it, if you guys are okay with it, then it could, he could modify it, right?
As long as we've got something documented.
Right.
Well, right now, what you're discussing is the existing access.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, I
They
think,
can't just mark up what they intend to do, or what would be better for them to do.
Better for them.
I mean, right now, you wouldn't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be, I don't know, it's up to you. If you're gonna say, scratch what I just said, and you want to approve with the condition that the access be in the manner that is least intrusive to the wetland per the soil scientist? Sure, you can do that, and then whatever Rick says is the best option for access goes. That would be how you would have to deal with that. I don't know what your preference is, but I think we would want to either put it fully in his court to make a determination and to put a sketch together based on his professional opinion, or go off of the sketch that we have with the understanding of this is how the access is going to be, so that there's some clarity around what that looks like.
I mean, that access right there is gonna be filled at some point, potentially.
The access on the approved,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that would be per the previous permit, right?
So I think that would have the least impact. to the system. Might not be best for their this current operation.
I don't mind either way, whatever makes you guys comfortable. It will just add a little cost to him, that's all.
All right, so we'll put a condition that they need to come back with an updated map.
Come back to a meeting or provide?
No,
Provide.
Okay,
Provide an updated map. I'm just trying to get this out.
Mhm.
That
going by the original access.
the original access or their new proposed access?
Well, Mike doesn't believe that we know what we're looking at with the proposed access.
Yeah, the original, when I filed the original application, I went with the intent of using the same path, because I figured that would be the path of
Correct.
least resistance. You know, we just brought this up for purposes of whether that's better or not, but if that's what's best for consistency, then we can continue to use that.
I also think that there's two lots and they're divided. I think that path is set up so it wouldn't interfere into the second lot.
Mhm.
And for us, when we walked it, the least resistance is up north, which
Yes.
is across the two lots. That's the reason. And we walked it and I was able to walk in sneakers without mud, and then the other way would, you know.
That's why it was set up the way it was, because it's two separate lots and
I think that you need to know what you're approving specifically, just from the perspective of, they're asking for X, you're approving X. You can approve with a modification, you can make mods and conditions, but I think approving an application without having any idea where the crossing will be or where the access will be is a little bit tricky. So I think you can divest all of that and put that solely in Rick's hands as a certified soil scientist and say he will make a determination on the least least impactful crossing, and that will be provided to us ahead of
Prior to
the activity.
Correct.
Or you can have them make a decision on which way they're gonna go and update the map. I think those are the two options that I would recommend so that we understand what's happening.
Are you comfortable with Rick making that decision? Because I,
Yeah, oh yeah, I am. Would you be comfortable with that, Ralph?
If they were to access this area that they want to clear from someone else's property,
No, it's
Um,
from his property.
it's his property.
understand, but I was just gonna give an example. If the access was was from someone else's lot and that was clean, and they had full blessing of that property owner, then fine. But all I want to see is something for the record that this is what we're gonna do. This is where we're gonna access the area we're gonna clear. Fine. It's on the record, we're good. If you want to build a driveway now and access it that way, fine. If you want to use that path to access this area now, fine. Let's just document it and make sure that the soil scientist agrees this is a good way to do it. I'm fine. I have no objections to clearing the area for the orchard. It's just the disturbance of the ground that I'm concerned about. And I just want to know what it's going to be. So far, all I've heard a verbal description, but I don't have any documentation on it. And I'm not comfortable without some kind of documentation. If you want to approve it with a condition that they provide something, great, let's do that.
Okay,
We're not getting on site until everything is
yes,
done by Rick and you guys have it, yeah.
all right. So motion to approve inland wetlands application 25-15. Request for jurisdictional ruling for land clearing at 14 Belaz Road. Owner applicant S. Warzakowicz. With conditions. Do you want
So what is it, the updated plan or to include Rick?
to include Rick? So
Yes.
provide the commission with an updated site plan of access as deemed less.
So
Less
Intrusive.
I said certified soil scientist shall determine the least impactful location for the temporary wetland crossing. And
Correct.
such plan shall be provided prior to the start of the activity to depict the identified location
wetland crossing area and detail updated flagging. Does that make sense? Is that what we're looking for?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes,
yeah. And he said he was gonna put ENS control, so.
Yeah, so fence,
We're gonna add erosion, depict identified location, erosion and sedimentation controls, wetland crossing area, and updated flagging.
And then when you're done, when you're pulling the mats out, pull the ENS out too.
you don't wanna keep it for a little bit for, because we're gonna be doing.
Once it's established.
So once you're done, you're pulling all your equipment out.
Yeah.
Pull the ENS too.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Sometimes we wait a little bit just for erosion control. We don't pull the silt fencing out for a little bit. It's up to.
you want to make sure you've got some vegetation established before you pull all the ENS.
I guess it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
If they start in December, they ain't gonna get anything in January, so.
That's fine.
I can look at it and
Okay.
make a call on that.
Is there anything else we want to add as a condition?
I'm good.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. Rodney, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. So just provide us with all that.
That's some more.
Thank you. Yeah, Rick's back next week, so we'll get that.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, inland wetlands application 25-11, application for installation of driveway with wetland crossing at 107 Lushon Road, map block lot, 18-008-0B, owner applicant D. Deskis. Was that the agenda last time?
Meeting for receipt, yeah.
Yes.
How you doing?
Hi,
How are you?
Good.
I'm looking to get an extension on, the wetlands.
Just put the name in.
Oh, I'm sorry, David Deskis, Deskis. Some years ago, I was gonna build a house on the property at 107 Lushon Road. Obviously, life happens and, it just didn't work out, so, I'm in the position now where, I'd like to, use my plans that I had originally, have no changes to those. I just wanna see if I can get the extension on the wetlands, so I can possibly start in spring or summertime.
Well, his application is good for,
So this would have normally fallen under the COVID extensions of the, really long duration permit, but the caveat to that is you have to request the extension before it expires. So it's, I guess you can think of it as an extension in that it's the same permit, permitting the same activity, the same location, the same terms. And in the packet, you'll see the permit, the original plan, everything is there, but it is effectively a new permit because the previous permit
Expired.
had
When was
expired,
this originally permitted?
2014. So it's listed as a residential house construction with 24-inch culvert and fill in the review area. You'll see the associated map. So, and in speaking with the property owner, and obviously, Philip is no longer in business, who did the original plans, not necessarily knowing if there would be modifications, what those modifications would be, particularly because there's some areas that have some slopes to the driveway. And so we have driveway standards on the zoning reg side that talk about what you have to do based upon the grade. So not knowing what the mods would be, not having access to the original plan preparer to really evaluate that and make modifications. I think what we decided was that it made sense to just get the current request active, so that he has an active wetland permit to do the things that were originally permitted in 2014, and then he can start moving that project forward. And if he determines that he needs to make modifications, he can come back
with an updated plan to say, okay, here's what you approved, here's what we need to modify. Because there's no way to really do that with this, without knowing the extent of that. Again, it's hard to have a plan to capture. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think we agreed, and he had reached out to another engineer who I spoke to last week and sort of agreed in the same. We can talk about if there's necessary modifications as a second step, but let's renew and get a new permit for what was previously approved in place. Because nowadays septic and house, all that stuff requires survey work anyways. So you can see the permit itself is in the packet. I don't really think there's, other than sort of the standards.
Right, language.
I don't think there's any specifics.
Alright, so you're looking to move forward with your project right now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could you move the larger, I just can't.
what do you want me to show? Well,
The site plan? Sure. Do we know how wide of a crossing this is?
yeah, it says on the plan. Ralph, do you have it up or do you want me to share?
No, I've got the map here.
Okay.
Well, that is the narrowest part of the system.
Yeah. So we had originally discussed some areas where he might deviate from the driveway location. It's still within the existing area of disturbance, which is why the yellow is on there. But again, not knowing what that looks like and having the engineering behind it.
So what does this mean? That's where they're gonna have to maybe modify something, or?
That was where they were originally considering modifying it, but the plan right now is to just have this exact plan as previously approved with the existing crossing. So just ignore the yellow. That would be something he'd consider with his engineer once they get the approval in place and actually can start moving forward with the house stuff. So he would be back.
Pretty narrow there, huh?
Yeah, and there is historically has been, I looked at, there's historically been access to that portion of the property to look at aerials. So there's already like a dirt track in this location. So this is kind of, I think, been a historic access up to the higher elevation. So this is kind of the minimums that are required for our driveway standards for grading. The slope, you'll see up as you get further, the bypass for emergency vehicles, all of those things are pretty much the same as they were.
Do you know how wide the stream is through there?
Oh, it's minimal, probably maybe 24 inches wide, maybe, it's not very big. And that's when it's flowing really, really good now. Now it's kind of just barely trickling.
Yeah.
And I think he actually over-engineered that pipe, you know, it's a pretty big pipe, but I'm not an engineer, so.
24 inch. I mean, that just fills the bank width.
I can go in further more.
He's got 30, insert ADS.
The original engineer, right?
Yeah.
Philip.
Feet, 30 inch ADS. Ralph, do you have anything to say?
No. It's a challenging site for sure, but I don't see anything of any major concern here.
Mark? All right, so the applicant, is he gonna get us anything updated or,
If he doesn't want to deviate from the plan, then
Okay.
the plan that was approved is
and
remains.
you're
in
working
effect.
with somebody
Yeah,
to update?
I think his name's Peterson's last name.
Partner
I reached out to them, last week, as I mentioned. So I'm gonna ask them for a little bit of help, because since the original, surveyor is no longer in business anymore, so. Yeah, I'll definitely need someone, new, just to make sure everything is done correctly.
Okay. All right, do we want to add, and I don't think do we need to add any other conditions except our standard conditions unless something, I think that's already in the application, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's 10 existing conditions.
I'd like to make a motion to approve inland wetlands application 25-11. Application for installation of driveway with wetland crossing at 107 Lushon Road, map block plot 018-008-0B, owner applicant D. Deskis.
I'll
Is there a
second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck. Okay, next item on the agenda is inland wetlands application 25-14 for the commission to approve amendments to the forest practices regulations and inland wetlands water courses regulations. As previously discussed.
Excuse me, I really hate to interrupt, but I just want to let you know, the regulations that you listed are not numbered correctly. They got flipped, I think, with the ones that you used for inland wetlands and forestry. So before you vote on that. The section changes that you made.
Oh, yeah.
And Kathy, could you give us your name, please?
Sure, I'm sorry. Kathy Demers, 48 Mason Road. And I'm sorry, I was trying to
Yeah.
get your
correct.
attention during the public hearing, but my computer froze, so.
It's correct on the actual application, but in the minutes or the agenda, it's incorrect.
Okay. I'm gonna just verify.
So that's sections for. And then wetlands, chapter.
So I think you just reflect that in the motion.
Report. Two. Okay. Yeah, it's just lost in translation on the agenda.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew, and again, I'm sorry, I did have some other comments. I know the public hearing is closed. But there's suggestions for clarification in the document. So that's up to you if you want to hear them or not.
So, I mean, this went to.
You can, I think she can give you the suggestions. It may or may not be something we can deal with through an amendment. So I mean, we can figure that out. No one else speaks, so.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
Is it possible, let me just ask this quick question. Is it possible to reopen the hearing for a few minutes for me to talk and then you can close it again? I mean, I don't want to cause issues. I'm just wondering about some things in the codification document that I was reading online. There's been some, in the short information that you provided, there's references to changing certain words. For example, references in the inland wetland regs to changing agency to read department, but you don't define department in your definitions in that document. So it gets very confusing when you're reading the document. There's also some paragraphs that refer to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. But then there's still things in the new document that say Commissioner of Environmental Protection and not Commissioner of Energy and Environmental Protection. So it's just a friendly suggestion perhaps to maybe go back and look through some of these changes that you made maybe when people were changing the new codified document. You know, you look for these certain terms and you just, you know, change a word to that, this or that, but it can become confusing in the document if it's not under the definitions. And then in the original document for the inland wetlands regulations, the term agency referred to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission or its designated agent. And you're saying with the new changes that you want to make or the amendments you want to make in the regulations, that agency will now read department. But I'm wondering, are they one and the same? Are we, if you're referring to something in the document as department, are we leaving out that it's a commission decision versus something under the land use department? It gets a little bit muddy as I'm reading things. And I'm not sure if you've all read through the full document to see what you think about it before you make the changes.
So was department that, or the agency was the Connecticut DEP?
I think it's so the first document is sort of a synopsis of the changes. It's not an actual like line by line. So there's like you see in 304, it says the term Inland Wetlands Agency and Inland Wetlands Watercourses Agency are meant to read the land use department. So in areas where it says agency, but it's actually referencing a department function, or where it says references to the agency when referring to land use department are meant to read department. So I think what it's trying to do is reflect correctly when certain things happen and who is doing them. So not necessarily saying, well, if it used to be done by the agency, now it's done by the department. But if the department was doing something or the responsibility falls within the department, we're now reflecting it in the term department versus just saying agency for everything. So this is not the, this is like a synopsis that came as part of our sort of the overall presentation of the entire code. We got one for each. If you go, there is a specific red line. So I mean, I can certainly go through it and look if it's like a Scribner's error, we don't need to conduct a public hearing to make, if there's a reference to agency and it should say department. I would just have to look to see what ones specifically we're referring to. But the document that says Willington Wetlands Watercourses adoption of regulations as part of Newtown Code, and it has sections 1, 2, 3. Those are the changes reflected when the codification ordinance was adopted by the Board of Selectmen. The actual red line is a separate document. So I can look at that. You certainly, if you're not comfortable, can certainly wait. I can give you, you can come back and deal with it next month.
All right, yeah, we can, it's not.
It's up to you.
So does that clarify a little bit, Kathy, that what you were originally reading was just kind of like a synopsis almost, right, Mike?
Correct.
Yeah, so I understand that completely, but then when I use those changes, for example, when I'm looking for the changes that were made from in the new document that's been codified, which was also available to read online as part of your public hearing, where the term department shows up a lot in that document, there's no definition of department in that document. Where the word agency has been changed to department. If you look under definitions in the codified document, I don't know if you all have a copy of that. It's online under the files that Mike provided for the meeting.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, it was what we gave you
ago, because we haven't made any changes to it. I can,
But in the document itself, like, does it say like, you know, the land use department and then department, so then further on in the document, you see department, it's referenced back to the original.
No, no. I guess I'm just suggesting before you print out or, you know, do something with the whole document that's been codified with the new section numbers and everything, you may want to go back and read that whole 28 or 29 page document and see when the words, for example, department come up, if it's clear, because there's no definition of department listed under definitions. And the definition agency still remains under definitions. But I don't see the word agency being used in the document anymore. It's all department.
Yeah, so the only other thing that I can think of, it could be that the swap, because if you look in the terms, it was swapped in, you know, we swapped agency for department and department for agency. Could be that it was swapped. Yeah, the opposite swap occurred. I also can go back, I don't have it here. To make sure that the clean version of the amended changes is being reflected correctly in the document that's with the attachment. So I
So
can't.
let's table this.
I can't get it now. So, I think that we obviously trying to work my way through the procedural component of this. The hearing has been closed, but obviously we would not be supplementing the agency's jurisdiction and giving that to staff. And we would not be taking actions of staff and the department and giving it to the agency. So I think that if there's an error in how it's shown or what's reflected in the draft, we can amend that or clarify, but I don't think that gets us away from what was originally reviewed by the commission over the last year. So I don't think it's something that we would need to notice for, because commission would never delegate its authority as the agency to staff. That would have been, you know, you are authorized by statute. So let me just verify that I'll get a red line, I'll get the original red line. And I will take a look at that and we can come back around to it.
Do we have a deadline for approval on this or statutorily?
We do not have a deadline for approval. We're this is the last piece of the puzzle to be able to make the whole town ordinance
Complete.
Well, the website and everything is not live because they don't want to make it live partially. So they want the whole body of the code to be adopted and effective before the ordinances. So we're holding that up, but we don't want to just unnecessarily.
Right.
I don't know how else
Make
we
sure
would.
we're correct.
Right. If that were the only issue, we could look at it and address it and just have the correct terminology used if everything else is okay, but
Okay, so we'll table this then? Is that what we're doing? Okay, so, motion to, table IW 25-14 for further review and, for the next meeting. Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Kathy, for your keen eye.
She's very good at detail.
Yes, she is.
Well, we're always looking for new members.
Conservation Commission is too. Thanks. Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, next order, we have no old business correspondence. We have the cause beginner wetland soil workshop.
if anybody's interested in going, let me know.
Where is this?
I don't know specifically where it is.
I think it's in the heart. Is that Katy Park?
About an hour and a half from Willington.
There you go.
Oh, is it out west?
Yes.
Out west.
I
Colorado.
don't remember the town. I just did a map to get there. It's about an hour and a half drive.
Western Connecticut.
So the registration information is linked on the agenda if anybody's interested.
Take a look at it. Gonna get a soil auger. Take some moles.
Could be better.
And look at some reduced and depleted soils. All right, next, staff report and discussion, anything on the docket for that, Mike?
Nothing beyond sort of the things that we've been discussing. I don't have anything else. I don't have any, haven't done any agent permits and have no enforcement on the wetland side, I am on the zoning side.
Any new applications coming in, you think?
There's an application that will be before you eventually. We'll be going for a zone change. The parcel will go for a zone change to planning and zoning in November. And then at some point in the future, when their site plan is prepared, it will come before you for a wetland application, but that could be in 6 months or 6 years. I don't know. I expect it won't be 6 years, but
Okay.
It's for a project on 10 Polster Road. Other than that, no.
Next is public comment. Anyone wish to speak from the public? All right, next item on the agenda, adjournment. Take a motion to adjourn the Town of Wellington Inland Wetland and Watercourse Commission meeting today, October 27th, 2025. I'll second that. Mr. Droppy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.